here's what the cross piece looks like when it's finished. We took two segments from strata 3 and we pieced it on either side of this 3.5 inch by 5.5 inch dark fabric number 1. And when you piece this, then you're going to press towards the dark fabric. And here's what it looks like from the back. Press this way. Now for the throw size, you'll need 16 of these, and for the double size, you'll need 40. Go ahead and piece these, and we'll come back and assemble the block. And this is what the sunblock looked like before it's pieced. We're going to piece it in rows, 3 rows, the top, middle, and the bottom row. We're going to sew these 2 pieces together, then these 2 pieces to that, and we're going to press towards dark fabric number 3. Then we'll sew these 2 pieces together, and these 2, and we'll press toward the dark 3 fabric. And then repeat the same thing down here. And when I'll piece this and come back and show you. Here are the steps you take to piece the sunblock. This is the top and the bottom unit, and you lay them out like this, and you piece. For the throw, you're going to piece 8 of these, and for the double, you're going to piece 20 of these. So this is what it looks like when it's pieced, and they'll all look like this. If you turn it over, you can see I pressed these toward the dark 3 fabric. Here's a little bit closer. These are pressed this way. So in these blocks, everything is pressed toward the darker fabric. It's difficult to see this, but this is a seam right here. So when you stitch this piece to this piece, you'll have to interlock these seams that go across here. You'll only have it usually on one side because this side doesn't have the seam. The seam is going this way. So when you come across that, I'll show you the back. Here you can probably see how they interlocked. This is the seam allowance here, and this is the seam allowance here. So you can see that this stitching goes straight across. So you interlock those 2 pieces when you put them together, just like we interlocked the seams before. And then the middle piece, for the throw, you're going to piece 4 of these, and for the double size, you're going to piece 10. And you piece these to the center square, and we're going to press toward the dark 3 fabric. And this is what they look like when they're finished. Now piece all of those, and then we'll come back and piece the rows together to form the blocks. Now we're going to start sewing the rows together, and I'm going to show you how to match some of these seams, how to interlock the seams when you sew. So we're going to take the big one and put it on top, and I'll tell you the reason why. The reason is because when you have these long pieces of fabric with more piecing underneath, it's better to put the pieced part against the feed dogs, because the feed dogs will help ease in that stitching, or if there's any fullness, and it won't ease in any of these straight pieces of fabric. So anything that has a straight piece of fabric, I always put it on the top. And what you're going to do here is start at one end and match the edge, the top and the side, and place your pin there. And then look to see where the next intersection is, and it's right here. See, this is pressed toward the dark side, and if we flip this over, we see that we need to match these seams here to interlock those seams. So we just interlock them, and you can feel it with your fingers, and then place a pin there. Then go to the next seam. Here's this one. Do the same thing. Interlock them, and then place your pin. Then if you'll notice here, there's stitching here. You can't really see it because it's dark, but you can see I have white threaded there, and there is a seam here, and this one is pressed toward the right and this one is pressed toward the left. So these two seams need to be interlocked, and we'll put a pin there too. And then there's no more interlocking, so we'll just place a pin at the end, match the top and the sides. And I'm going to add another pin here in the middle, and the same over here. Now I'll go stitch this and come back. Now when you finish stitching it, you're going to press toward the dark 3 fabric, which is this direction, and check all of your intersections to make sure they came out nice and straight and you have nice pretty little points. And then repeat that again for the one at the bottom. Be sure you place it in the right orientation where it makes a cross, and then you'll have your block finished. So go ahead and do that with all of your blocks.